Welcome! We are here. We're going to do our spring seasonal refresh. This is a very special section inside of our 2023 Dream Planner, which if you don't have one, you should grab one. But if you don't have a planner and you want to do this workshop with me, go to horacioprinting.com/spring and you can grab this workbook for free. I've got the link below as well if you want to grab your workbook. Pause this video, pause this podcast, and go print it out. I would love for you to do that. So let's go ahead and dive into our spring seasonal refresh. It has a prayer, it's got a refocus cloud, it's got a 90-day goal setting section, a heart check, and generosity planning. So we have a lot to get through, and that's okay. We're going to get through what we can, and I'm going to give you some strategic pauses in this training so you can actually sit and do the work, because that's honestly the hardest part. The hardest part to all of this, I promise you, it's just sitting down to stink and do it. It's just sitting down to use your brain, to have a moment, to pause, to sit with yourself. So I just want to celebrate you in this moment right now, because you're taking time for yourself. You're taking time to reflect. You're taking time to cast vision. Where there is no vision, people perish. You are called to have vision for your life, to declare what it is, and ultimately to surrender it to God and to partner with Him to make it happen. So let's dive in. You ready? I'm not sure what day you're listening to this or watching this, but good news. In the seasonal prayer, I talk about this. If you have the planner, you might have already read our seasonal prayer, but I'll read it out loud to you right now. It says, "We tend to make a big fuss about the new year on January 1st, but the dead of winter hardly feels like a fresh start." Am I right? When we look at nature, the first of spring feels like a fresh start, as the earth resembles new growth and new hope. In the traditional Hebrew calendar, the spiritual new year is actually in spring. So when God created the calendar, his first day of the year, New Year's Day, is the first day of Nisan. That's the first month of the year, the head month of the year. And the first day of Nisan was March 23rd. How about that? Not sure when you're listening to this, but as I'm recording it, it was last week. So God's new year just started. So I hope that reminds you and lets you have some comfort that you're not behind. You're right on time. You're right on time. I think it just makes so much sense that God put his new year in spring, to have his happy new year begin when the fresh blooms begin to awaken on this earth. This month of Nisan also holds a special celebration of Passover and, of course, the resurrection with Easter coming up. It is a month of redemption. So if you've been walking in a dark season, ready to quit, ready to give up, ready to throw in the towel, not saying, those inklings or those feelings aren't in some way valid to a change you need to make in your life. But I do want you to know that the month that we've just entered is a month of redemption. We pray that you feel new life blooming inside of you this spring as the Lord brings springtime into our souls. So, what are you believing for in this next quarter of the year, April, May, and June? I want you to write that down on your spring prayer page. That's the first page of this section. It says, "What am I believing for?" I'm going to write something down. I'm going to do this with you. I'm so excited to just take some time to sit with you and hang out and actually fill this section out together. And like I said, the hardest part of this is just making time to do it. So what are you believing for? If you're like, what does that even mean? What's on your prayer list? What are you surrendering open palm to God and saying, God, this is really what I am believing for. God, I'm praying that you'll make a way for this. This is what my heart desires in this quarter. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's simplification of your life or your business. Maybe it is a fresh spirit. Maybe it's reducing anxiety. Like, what is it that you are needing, that you want to ultimately hand to God and say, God, this is what I need. He is your Heavenly Father. He loves you. He makes all things new, and He has not forgotten you. So let's write that down right now. We're going to take a quick second, write down, what am I believing for? Now, you don't have to share what it is, but if you want to, you can. You can comment below and share it. You can share a screenshot on Instagram if you want to, but you can also keep all of this to yourself. There's no quiz at the end of it. This is just about you. It's really between you and God. So I'm really believing for simplicity and health and fullness. One of the big things I'm going to work on in Q2 is my Sabbath. I felt like me and my family have been running around like crazy people this whole year. And my husband and I were just talking about how much we really want to prioritize staying home, being home with our kids, and showing them what a true Sabbath looks like with being home. Anyway, so I just share that with you. I have not mastered it. I'm working on it. I'm always going to be a work in progress, but just want to share like that's what's in my heart over here. So we're going to move on to our next section. If you need to pause this because you need more time to come up with your list, by all means, pause. But once you're ready, we're going to move over to the Refocus cloud. Now, I went ahead and did mine before starting this little workshop because I wanted to be able to show you what it looks like. But basically, the Refocus cloud is the page that has the word spring in the middle, and around it is a circle that says passions, focuses, distractions, and obligations. And what I do is I like to draw lines, like a bubble chart, out of from the circle out, and then I write down the things around the Refocus cloud. I usually start with my focuses. So the first one is, what are you focused on in the next 3 months? April, May, and June. What are you focused on? What's going to be top of mind? And if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not there yet, I'm still in March, or like, I have no idea, now is the time to think about it. What do you want to be focused on? I wrote down simplifying. That is what I'm focused on with my business and my life in general. I'm focused on our business operations simplifying. I'm focused on our 2024 Dream Planner collection, which I've been sharing a lot here on the Dream Printing podcast, how that's going, how we're creating the next collection, what step we're on. I'll have more updates to share soon, which I'm excited about, and being present with my family and taking a Sabbath. I'm not going to share everything on my Refocus cloud, but just wanted to share my first ones of this is what I am going to be focused on in 2024 Q2. So I want you to start writing down, what are you going to be focused on? And I'm going to go ahead and share all 4 sections, what to do, and then we'll take a pause to let you work on it. So the first thing you write down is your focuses. What are you focused on in Q2? The next one is your obligations. What are your obligations you have coming up in this quarter, or just your weekly and daily obligations of what you're doing in your home and in your life? For me, it's working out. I'm going to be starting to refilm some modules inside of Print School, which I'm really excited about, just improving that course, taking student feedback, and trying to simplify it even more for them so they could really move through that system. Home organization, laundry, I have quarterly taxes due, so all my different obligations I've got going on. The next is passions. What are your passions? What are the things that light your heart up, either that you do or you want to do, but you don't have time for? Like dance class, art class. I wrote dating my husband, taking bar class, daily Bible study, reading at night. And then distractions. What are your distractions? What are the things you do to numb out? Television, social media, my phone. I also wrote down some mental ones like fear, comparison, doubt. I've been doing Refocus Clouds now for almost 10 years. So it comes a little faster to me. So if it takes you a minute, that's okay. I've done this 35 times. So, but it's so helpful every time I do it. I absolutely love it because it helps me kind of silence the noise and brain dump all the things that the mental load. It's like your mental load, all of it, right? So take some time right now to fill out your Refocus cloud. If you have your planner, the full list of instructions is in the front canvas section of the planner as well. But we're going to put 3 minutes on the clock and just let you work on this special section of the planner. All right, so now that you have done your refocus cloud, I want you to end this section by drawing an X through everything that you do not want to continue to do in April, aka some of those distractions, right? What are some things you want to minimize or delete? I am deleting TikTok, and I'm going to reduce time on my phone because I really would rather read more this quarter. So that's some of the stuff on my list. And then put a heart next to the things you really want to prioritize. This is just some really soft intention setting for the quarter ahead. Now, let's move on to the next section, which is our wheel, our personal growth wheel. Now, we did this at the beginning of the year. If you have our planner, you have access to the Dream Planning Essentials course where we did this extensively. So this is just a check-in of how you're doing now that we're 3 months into 2023. So we have the wheel here, and what you're going to do is there's 2 slices of the wheel that do not have a label. So if you are married, one of those slices needs to be labeled marriage because that's the most important relationship in your physical life. And then the other one needs to be labeled, if you are a mom, it needs to be labeled motherhood because that is another big hat you wear. It's a big piece of who you are. If you are not married, you can put relationship, you can put friendships, social life, and then you can put, if you're not a mom, no worries, obviously. You can put any other label in your life. Some people put aunt, some people put caretaker because they're taking care of their mom in this season of life. You can leave it blank, it's totally fine. In our planner years ago, we only had 6 slices. So this is an extended pie for those that have a couple more labels in their life. So let's go through what these labels mean really quick and what you're going to do. Basically, you're going to look at each of these labels and you're going to shade in how encouraged or discouraged you are. So for example, one of them is called dwelling, and dwelling is about your house, the place you live, your home. So how encouraged are you in your home right now? Like in terms of, home organization and cleanliness and just peace in your home. Like how are you feeling here? For me, I'm at probably like 60%. Like I love my house, but even just sitting in my office right now, it is so messy. And there's just a lot still. We moved in when I was 8 months pregnant and my baby's a year old now, but like there's just still a lot that needs to be sorted, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put about 60%. So I'm shading in that slice of my wheel. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see what that kind of looks like. And you're just going to go around and shade all the parts of your wheel based on how you feel like you're doing in that area. So I'm going to give you a minute right now to shade it in. But first, before I give you that minute, let me tell you what all these slices are. We just went through home. That's one of your slices, dwelling. The next one is professional. So how are you doing in your career? If you're like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm a homeschooling mom, that's a career, okay? Like homeschooling mom snaps to you. That is a career. Don't let anyone make you think it's not. So that's it. And if you're in school, it's your school, okay? So professional, and then you got financial. How are you doing with your budgets when you talk about money, when you pay your bills, when you interact with your money? How discouraged or encouraged are you that you're at least on a plan? You're on the right track, you're staying in budget. If you're feeling good about that, fill it in further, Personal is how are you? How are you doing? Mentally, just you. How are you? How are you? How's like the person right here inside of you? Spiritual is your soul. How is your soul? How is your relationship with the Lord? Physical is your body. How are you doing physically? Are you happy with your body right now? With your sleep? You feeling good? And then, of course, the other 2 slices are ones that you get to define. I have motherhood and marriage. So I'm defining how encouraged or discouraged am I in my marriage and my motherhood. So we'll put 1 minute on the clock, shade it in, and let's start the clock now. Okay, so now that you have your wheel, you're probably seeing that there's some areas that are really low and some areas that are okay and some areas that are doing good. And you'll probably see some correlation to the areas that are doing well are areas you probably spend time in. We tend to want to create goals in the areas that we're doing well in. Like if you're crushing it in physical, you like physical goals. It's obvious. That's where you're spending your time. Like you're showing up for that. The areas that you're not doing so well, you probably haven't been setting really great goals and you haven't been spending time. And that's okay. Every single season will have different areas that are thick and some areas that are, thin, and that's okay. We're just right now, we're going to try to pump air into that part of the tire that is low. So, below the wheel, I want you to circle the area that is, or the two areas that are the lowest. What are those two areas for you? So below the wheel, it says fundamental needs. What is one thing I can do to feel more encouraged in each category? My one thing I'm going to do on a weekly basis to pump air into that tire. So for me, I would feel like my motherhood is probably one of my lowers. And let's see, what's my other one? My other one is physical. Oh, actually, no, probably just personal. Personal. I'll be honest. We're friends here. I'll be honest with you. It's personal and motherhood. So, and it's not that it's like, oh gosh, I have to feel so much shame about this, and I'm the worst. Like I don't. Those thoughts aren't helpful. This is just a matter of like, I don't know, trying to take the emotion out and saying, no, this is the area I'm a little discouraged in. I want to pump air into this section. I want to feel better in my journey of motherhood. I want to feel better in my mental health and me. And so in looking at these areas, what is the one thing I'm going to commit to weekly to pump air into that tire? And we're going to take some time right now to just come up with that one thing. Now, at the beginning of the year, we found your fundamental needs. Chelsea Joe came in, we did the Dream Planning Essentials course. We looked at every area of our life. We came up with 3 things and we picked the one thing. So if you haven't done that section, if you want to, go deeper into this work, you can jump into the Dream Planning Essentials course and go through that fundamental needs training. But this is kind of more of an express track of, I already knew what my fundamental needs were. Let me do this again and refresh it. So we're going to just put 3 minutes on the clock again for you to write down what is the one thing you can do to feel more encouraged in each category. And I had you circle your top 2 weaker areas because I want you to start there. What are you going to do weekly? Like for me, in my personal life, what am I going to do? I'm probably going to have a mom's night out once a week for 2 hours. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to read more before bed. And then for my motherhood, I'm going to do mother-daughter date once a week. Something where we're doing something creative, we're going out of the house, we're doing an art project. That's what I'm going to prioritize. And I know that's going to pay off. So just kind of giving you a real world example here of that. So 3 minutes on the clock, and I'll meet you right back here when you have your one thing in each area. All right, you did it. Great job. So now that you have these fundamental needs, these 8 fundamental needs are what you're going to add into your week. So when you sit down to design your week, you want to schedule these into your time blocks. Again, we teach this in the Dream Planning Essentials course that comes with your planner. If you're like, wait, I have the planner, where's the course? Go to the QR code at the beginning of your planner. It is, let's see, for those of you on YouTube, I'm going to show you where to find that. It is right here. There it is. Boop, boop. QR code takes you right to the Dream Planning Essentials course where you can learn all of this. So what I like to do is I will actually write all of these 8 things on a Post-it note, and I keep that Post-it note in the front of my planner. And then when I go to plan out my week, I'll actually take that Post-it note and like just set it on my week and make sure I'm literally writing them in. I highlight them in orange and like schedule when I'm doing it. So that is our fundamental needs. Yay, we're halfway through. So next we are going to write down our 90-day goals in each area of our life. Again, I want you to circle those 2 areas that you're doing the lowest, because those are going to be your top goals for the quarter. So what are your goals spiritually, physically, financially, professionally, dwelling, personal, and your other 2 areas? For me, it's marriage and motherhood. For you, it might be social life and with my nephews. I want to reach out to them. I want to pour into their lives. I want to, babysit them and let my sibling have a night off, whatever. What are your 90-day goals, April, May, and June? So what do you want to have accomplished in these areas, or even what do you want to feel in these areas by June, by the end of June, by the middle of summer, I guess the beginning of summer. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do next. Write down the outcome you want or the feeling you want. All right? We're going to put 4 minutes on the clock this time to give you enough time to really sit with these questions. Okay, let's go. Yay! I am so proud of you. I would love it if you could jump into the free Facebook group. Just go to HoracioPrinting.com/community and tell us about what some of your top 90-day goals are, or maybe what your number one goal is as you're doing this work. I would love to see it. So share one of your 90-day goals with us of what you're committing to. We would love to cheer you on. We would love to be an accountability buddy for you. So make sure you jump into that free Facebook community. This is where all of the planner nerds and goal setting nerds hang out. So you will be in good company. Now, the last thing we're going to do is generosity planning and heart check. So these are just a set of 3 questions to recenter ourselves and make sure that we're walking into this next season of life with a clean heart. So we're going to start with generosity planning, and then we're going to end with, actually, let's start with heart check, and then we'll do generosity planning. So let's start with heart check. We're going to go through these 3 questions. What do I need to let go of? Who do I need to forgive? And what fears are holding me back? These are deep, tough questions, but they're really good questions. What do you need to let go of and leave in March as you walk into April? What do you need to let go of? The next question, who do I need to forgive? Who has been bothering me? And sometimes we won't even be aware of it, but who has been bothering us? I was just listening to my Lectio Divina app, Lectio 365, and we were going through the story of Judas betraying Jesus. And it's just so poignant that Jesus, he was betrayed. He knows what it feels like. And yet, he let it happen. And Jesus forgave him. He forgives all of us. And, on the cross, he said, forgive them. They know not what they do. And it makes me just so grateful, of his example. But when we forgive others, it is a gift to us to release that bitterness. I believe bitterness and holding on to unforgiveness really blocks our blessings. It blocks some of the ways that God wants to use us fully, because the point is, the more we can grow into wholeness and the more we are healthy in our heart, in our body, in our finances, in all areas, the more that we are healthy, the more God can lay upon us the calling and we can carry it. If we can't carry the calling he has, largely I found he won't lay it on you yet, and so we have to let things go so God can lay it on us, what he has for us. So, and one of those steps, I think, of letting things go is seeking forgiveness, removing bitterness, and working through all these things we go through as humans. So what do you need to let go of? Who do you need to forgive? And what fears have been holding me back? So we're going to take 4 minutes right now to answer these questions. If you need more time, you just keep this episode paused when we jump back. If you're like, no, wait, I need more time, just pause. This is your journey. But we're going to give you 4 minutes right now to work on this section. All right, I am so proud of you for doing this work. It's not easy to sit and face your fears and to bubble up things that you've been suppressing. So I'm just really proud of you for that. And maybe this is going to lead to a conversation you need to have or a prayer that needs to be had between you and Jesus. So I just pray that God will illuminate the next action you need to take to walk in wholeness. We're going to round out our goal setting section by doing generosity planning. So this is right here in the planner. 2 Corinthians 9:7 says, each of you should give what you have decided to give in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. So it is so important for us to be intentional with our generosity, not just our money or the way you donate or whatever. It's your time, your love, your eye contact, your hugs, your texts of, hey, how are you doing? Can I pray for you? There's so many ways to be generous and to be the hands and feet of Jesus in this day and age. So we're going to sit right now and think about, who do I want to be encouraging and praying for this season? What am I making time for? Because time is really our greatest gift we have to give. And what am I budgeting for financially in terms of my generosity? So we're going to sit with these questions, and then we're going to close in prayer. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock for you to work through the generosity planning section. We did it! Yay! Thank you so much for joining me for this spring seasonal refresh. I hope it blessed you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm just so grateful for you. Don't forget, we have tons of products on sale right now. It's gift giving season. We've got Easter coming up, which the deadline to order for Easter is now. So, be careful on that. Make sure you do priority shipping. And then other gifts are coming up for Mother's Day, Teachers Appreciation, and last but not least, if you are here and you are interested and you have a dream in your heart or a goal professionally in your heart to create your own planner or journal or devotional or something like that in the same way that I've created Horacio Printing, I would love to invite you to a free 40-minute workshop, HoracioPrinting.com/workshop. The link is below for that workshop. I would love to invite you to that, where I teach you how to go from an idea in your head to a physical product printed in your hand. And that training is absolutely free. It's only 40 minutes. It's at HoracioPrinting.com/workshop. So you can check that out. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Welcome to the second quarter of the year. I am cheering you on. Make sure you join our free Facebook community, HoracioPrinting.com/community. I'll see you over there. I cannot wait to see what dreams and goals you have for the next quarter. Make sure you jump over there and share, and I'll connect with you over there. Have a wonderful day. Hey YouTube friends, thanks for joining. Really enjoyed having you here. And if you liked this, make sure you give a thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. If there's a video or a question or something you would like to see here on the Dream Printing Podcast, put it in the comments below. I would love to know what you're interested in, what I can create for you, what I can teach for you here on this free platform. So that is all for now. Have a wonderful day. You are so loved.